Hello, Steve White, Trek Boy 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, I'm here with my beloved Enterprise, and I had to do a video because something came out recently. Apparently, in an episode of Strange New Worlds, there's a shot where you can actually see the length of the Enterprise on one of the screens, the Strange New Worlds Enterprise, and it totally contradicts the length of the Enterprise that's already been established in Star Trek. It's been established in Star Trek, I believe, that the Enterprise is 289 metres. But in Strange New Worlds, their Enterprise is 442 metres. So it's 153 metres bigger. Now, how this makes any sense, if this is the same universe and the same canon and the same timeline and everything, like some fans still insist to this day, it doesn't make any sense. They're suggesting that between the cage in 2254 and when No Man Has Gone before, or when Kirk takes over the Enterprise in 2264, in that 10 years, the Enterprise went from the Cage Enterprise at that length to the Strange New Worlds Enterprise at that length of 442, and then back down to the original series length of 289, and then when it was refit, 305, because that was the difference between the refit and the original. It was actually a little longer. Of course, that's ridiculous. And it was funny to see the Trek Yards boys, I think, kind of sarcastically, I hope, try and explain how this could be done technologically. Well, they must have basically built the ship up, sized it up, and then they must have decided to size it down and like take it apart and put certain components together again and basically make it a smaller ship. And I'm like, my God, that's ridiculous. And I hope they were joking when they were suggesting that it could or would even be done. I mean, the idea of replacing it with another ship and acting sort of like it's the same one, that makes a bit more sense. Like, well, we created a new Enterprise and then we decided to go back to the old Enterprise. That at least would explain how it could be done technologically, but still doesn't make any sense why they do that. But it's just a joke. I mean, this show is a reboot. It's in its own universe, its own timeline. They've established it's a different timeline, or multiple different timelines if you look at Discovery's Red Angel adventures, which everyone just forgets, which I guess everyone tries to forget Discovery. But yeah, it's clearly a different universe. And the annoying thing is they didn't actually build the ship to be bigger in the beginning, just like JJ didn't. His ship was a little bigger than the original Enterprise, but it was still close to the original size. But then at some point, because he's got size issues, he just said, we're making it double the size. But they didn't actually alter the actual model. So even though it says it's like 700 meters, something ridiculous like that, the model is still the same size. And if you look at like the windows and all that and worked it out, the windows would be like 12 feet high and stuff like that if it was really the size of the decks were really the size they're supposed to be and all that, because it doesn't make any sense because they didn't change the model. They didn't size it up because they would have had to redesign the whole ship, add extra floors and do a whole new CGI model for the effects. But they didn't do any of that. They just said, let's just make it bigger. And that's as far as they went for. Let's just make it bigger and put it in all the official things that it's that size and now on the screen. And, and the same thing with the Strange New Worlds Enterprise. They designed it to be the same size as the Enterprise because, of course. But that's why if you look at the amount of decks and the size and everything, you look at the size of like the bridge dome and all that, when you put the models of the ship next to each other, it's clearly the same size. But when you do it based on the length it's supposed to be, it becomes comical. I mean, any fan who can look at this and actually believe that it's the same ship and so forth, now, because before it was just, it looked different. Now it's huge and it's ridiculous, the idea they sized it up and sized it back down in the course of a few years. It's ridiculous. And anyone who can believe this clearly is not very intelligent. And anyone defending it just because, I don't know why. I have these trolls who come into my comments and they just say things that are just obviously not true. Just it's just a joke. It's like they're just contrarian and countering everything. Like, oh, I say the Enterprise is 289 because that's what was established. They say, no, it's, another size. Like, the sky's pink because you say it's blue. That's the mentality of these people. And I'm like, do they just want to fight for the sake of attention? I don't know. But either way, I had to do a video about this because it's just ridiculous. Because now technically both are canon. So you can't have the same ship be two different lengths in the same canon and say it's the same ship in the same universe, in the same timeline, in the same canon, in the same show. It just can't be. It's not just that it looks different and you can say, oh, they must have refurbished it, or oh, it's just a little visual reboot because we want it to look nicer, which still doesn't make any sense. You can't do a visual reboot. It's either period accurate or it's not. You can do a full reboot and change everything if you want. And that's what I don't understand. Why don't they just acknowledge it's a reboot? So we wanted to do a reboot so we could be free to change anything we want and not have to adhere to what was already established in the original Star Trek. They seem to think that doing that will alienate fans from the show, but lying to them and gaslighting them and trying to say it's the same universe won't alienate them. And I'm like, it's worse. It's more insulting to do that. I mean, I think, rebooting the show and then pretending like you didn't and telling fans that it's not different is more insulting and going to alienate more people than if they just said, we want to do a reboot, just like JJ did. Because JJ, at least when he did the films, he did a reboot. It was in universe. They explained it and fans accepted it. But to do it in Strange New Worlds, in the TV sort of universe, and discovering everything, but then try and tell fans, no, it's all the same, it's all consistent. The Enterprise has always been 442, meters long. It's always looked like that, Spock always had a sister. Oh God, who was the guy from the original series, and then Raf Khan with the red hair, then they made him Asian. He was always Asian, apparently, I mean, no, he wasn't. He was a white guy with red hair. You can't now tell us he's changed into an Asian person and then he changed back into a white guy for the movies. Did he change his race, literally, genetically? Like, it's just like, did they literally tear the ship apart and make it, 150 meters longer and then tear it apart again and make it 150 meters shorter? Like, this is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. So I had to comment on this because it's just another example, and probably the final example, of how this, supposed canon show doesn't fit in the original canon, because it's a different universe, it's a different timeline, it's a reboot. I just wish they'd acknowledge it and just make the most out of it. Just say, yes, we're doing a reboot and we're going to make it different, and just, promote it like that. Why they wouldn't do that? Why they try and maintain that it's all the original and nothing's changed, it's all canon always was. It's just so insulting and stupid and ridiculous, and I just had to talk about it for a minute. I need some YouTube therapy because it's just so stupid. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this ridiculousness.